evening, everybody, and welcome to the Tavern. How we doing this evening?
Great. Greg, how's your weekend?
My weekend was good. Good. We had the
Pretty
state
awesome.
fair.
Okay.
State fair closed up here in Indiana. We went the day before the last day. Had some good fair food. Ran into the governor there of Indiana. He was incognito. No one was really noticed that he was there, but
nice.
He's a great guy, so it was good to see him. But we had a good weekend. How was your weekend, Steve?
No, it was good. I played in a charity scramble for Kelsey's Hope, a pediatric cancer charity fundraiser on Sunday. We shot 55 and lost by 2. We came in second, and so we were 18 under out at Eagle Creek. So that was it was fun. I had even a better weekend. The Red Sox swept the Yankees this weekend, so that is always a good weekend for me. So as a Red Sox fan,
as a Yankees fan, that's just like beating up on a toddler this year. So I'm just saying, it's not that impressive.
It's really not, but I had to take a chance to say something about it.
Actually, to be honest, it's like two grade school kids fighting each other at that point, because those two teams are not playing well this year.
We have now a 16% chance to make the playoffs. You guys have a 0.4% chance to make the playoffs. So
it's a bad year. Let's wash it up and regroup next year. We talked about this. I said I think Cashman's time is up. He's done great for the team, but I think it's time to move on.
What's up? Oh, and Brad also said this, by the way. Don't worry, Brad. Don't worry.
There's gonna be plenty of that.
And should we let him in? Like, I feel like he finally shows up late. He's late to the party tonight.
No, I don't even think we let him in.
You don't think we let him in?
I think he just sits there and he wonders what's going on. And all right, we'll let him in. Oh,
hey, Dave, welcome.
Fine by me.
Showed up. Jeez. Nice of you to show up at the tavern.
Sometimes you got to do family things, and family things run late.
That's why I haven't been on in a few weeks. So
yeah,
I've been on and off.
So, what's up, Eric? How are you? What's going on?
Eric, good to see you.
Oh, Heidi, you guys are on your way home from NAGA. Okay, we're gonna get to NAGA in the last call. We're gonna talk about NAGA in last call. The National Adaptive Golf Association Championship is up outside of Chicago this week, so we will talk about that. I do want to report before we get there that Brad is going to win his flight. It's automatic, so we'll cover that later though in last call. So
when you're running unopposed, you always win.
Well, hey, I wasn't gonna get on that road, but you did.
So it's like watching Steve play then.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
except
it's like watching Steve play. Okay.
So let's little happenings. We're down to 30 players left this coming week in the Tour Championships. Let's recap the BMW. Also known as Victor Hovland playing PlayStation golf on the back nine on Sunday, because that back nine was crazy.
My pick went off on the back nine.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. That's overrated.
We need to talk about that because it's all about furs and gers, and he went 9 for 9 on greens and regulations, folks. Like, that's unbelievable.
I mean, when it counted, he had great shots under pressure. I'm going to go on a limb. The 61 that he shot on Sunday with a 28 in the back nine. I'm going to say this. It was better than Bryson's 58 at Greenbrier.
Yeah. 2 reasons. I'll agree with you for that for 2 reasons. 1, tougher course.
Correct.
And 2, a tougher tournament. There's more pressure in this tournament. And you can compare this to Live because there were only 50 players in the field.
They're only correct, yes. Now, Eric, I haven't gone down that road. That's actually next in my points, in my talking points of the Scotty's three putt on 17, and I put in parentheses that was cute.
It's that's not what I the first time.
No, it's not.
This is my thing with Scotty. He does that
every once in a while. It's going to happen.
He did it to win the Masters.
Right. He 4-putted to win the Masters. So, So it was a good week. The week before, what do we have? 2 players move into the top 50 from the top 70. This week, I looked, only 1 player moved into the top 30 this week. That's Matthew Fitzpatrick.
Jumped up into the top, went from 40 to 10.
Chris Kirk moved out of the top 30. There was some questions late Sunday afternoon about, is Jordan going to make the Tour Championship, and all these other questions about Jordan or Terrell Hatton, and both of them are in. So I feel like the trick to getting into the Tour Championship is you got to be in the top 30. I mean, let's just call it what it is. You're going to have your outlier every once in a while, have a guy sneak in there. But if you're in the top 30 at the start of the FedEx Cup playoffs, you have a pretty good chance of getting into the Tour Championship.
There's some ups and downs that happen. There's some people that fell each week, but it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't drastic every week. There wasn't like a 5-player swing each week. There was 2 last week. There's 1 this week. Sepp, our boy Sepp was jumping 30-31 back and forth in the afternoon.
Next point on my talking list was Sepp at number 30.
But here's the thing: every time I looked, he was at 31, and he was just there, and he'd finished. He had finished his round. He was at 31. He needed some help, and he got it, and well deserved.
Speaking of numbers and movement and this, that, and the other, can we talk about how dumb it is on Thursday of a week like this that they're covering where people stand on Thursday before? I mean, it's the first round out of 4, and we're talking about where player movement is going on Thursday when you got to play 4 rounds. I mean, I get the Golf Channel and NBC need to have a graphic, but I mean, come on, let's get to the point. When does it matter? Sunday. It doesn't matter on Thursday. And if somebody's sitting at home jonesing on where their player is moving in and out of the top 30 on Thursday, they don't have an understanding of what happens in the course of a golf tournament.
Well, and here's the thing. I think it's good that they're doing that, because I like to see where I think they overdo it a lot. I like the graphic that they have up at the top that says projected and where they are. Like, I like that.
And again, over the weekend, over the weekend, as people are starting to move on moving day, I don't mind it. On Thursday and Friday, like, it doesn't matter.
Here's the thing. That's all part of it. You have to play Thursday. But it's part of it. You have to play it, and so you see it as it goes on. I don't watch a Major League Baseball game and just look at the score in the 9th inning.
It only matters in the 9th inning.
It's like NBA basketball. It only matters in the
7th inning if it's a doubleheader now.
Right. Yeah. And Dave, you're right. No, it's like an NBA game.
They're playing full. They're playing full nines.
Doubleheaders are 9s.
No more 7-inning doubleheaders.
Also, I do want to call out we called out the Yankees and the Red Sox, but I do want to call out the Phillies and the number 2 baseball bat.
Yes,
was one of the coolest things this weekend.
Yes. The
apparently Julio Rodriguez had one at the home run derby, but he never used it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Eric, hold on. I got to throw this up there. Eric. Hey, Eric, you're going to want to stick around for last call because that's our topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric, you're calling us out because some of us like it, some of us hate it, but we'll get to that later in the show. But BMW, Victor went off, got me another win in our picks. So and it made it interesting for the Tour Championship, and that where you start in the FedEx Cup points.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting, go around. -10 for somebody that can only 3-putt on 17 and 18 is not a guaranteed thing.
I mean, you know what it might be. You know what it might be? I'm going to give a little tip of the hat to our guest here and say maybe he needs a GrooveIt brush to clean his putter off with, and then he might be able to putt better. I mean, as Clint, I can see Clint in the bottom of the screen here laughing. He's chuckling. So maybe we need a GrooveIt brush to clean off his putter in between putts. He might putt better. I do want to give a shout out. I know we don't normally talk Champions Tour And I do want to give a shout out tonight before we move on. I know we're getting into time to go to odds for next week and talk about recap. But a couple years ago during COVID, I know we've talked about it on here. So Brad, Brad already said this earlier, so there it is. I had a chance to go down to the Floridian and work with Ken Duke from the Champions Tour. There's a picture of us walking up to one of the greens. I need to say congrats to Kenny. Get one of the best guys in the entire planet when it comes down to just being a great guy. If you listen to anybody this weekend in his interviews, they all said the same thing. Couldn't ask for a better dude. His 100th start on the Champions Tour, gets his first win out there.
Steve, did you have like 6 shirts in your car to make sure you matched Ken out there?
You know, it's funny. I did not. I literally just went with that because I was like, I wanted to wear the hat. It was more of a hat thing, so I went with that outfit. But
6 shirts.
Daly was one of the first guys to give him a hug when he won.
Well, and they're both from Arkansas. Funny enough, Kenny's from Arkansas originally. But what was really funny was if you saw the shot that he hit on 18 when he won in Hartford in the playoff, he stuffed one to like 2 inches and had a tap in for the win for birdie. And the shot he hit into 18 in the tournament this weekend literally went past the hole, almost went in on the way back. Left himself like 6 feet below the hole. And he said himself, he didn't even see it go in. He knew the minute he hit it, it was in the hole. So, congratulations, Kenny. Really happy for you.
Cheers, Kenny.
Couldn't happen to a nicer dude. We love to have you on the show here coming up in the future. If the time allots for it, we'd love to have you on and have you join us and talk about your W out there. So, we'd like to have that happen. So, that's all I need to say. Get off that. So let's jump in and do. Let's cover what happened last week from our odds perspective, and then move on to this week's odds.
Well, Greg won.
Yeah, we know that.
Let's see. He had Hovland coming in at 16-1, 16-1, taking the win.
He reversed that with a 61. I'm just pointing that out.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That bumps him up to 24.5 scoring average. I had Cantley tied for 15th. That bumps me up to 27.8. And ironically, Steve finishing 25th for Tommy Fleetwood doesn't move the needle at all and stays at 22.4. But Greg with the big win gets first pick.
And so I've also picked, we were talking about this before. I have had the best player 12 times this year. Here's the stats from this year. I'm gonna read off the stats here.
Hey Dave, I'm just going to preface this. He's trying to angle it based on the fact that all year we did it based on finishes. Now he's trying to angle it on how he can win this thing.
A win's a win, man. I'm just saying. I can still pull this win out either way. I had 12 wins. Dave had 10 wins. No, Dave cannot.
No.
But Dave has picked the most people that have finished in first place in the tournament.
Yes.
3. I have picked 2. Steve has picked 0.
I have.
So I'm going to ask this question: who do you think, without looking at it, picked the same player the most?
Dave.
Actually, Steve.
Wrong. It's actually Steve.
Really?
Yeah, Steve. Yeah.
Steve has picked Scotty. No, sorry, not Scotty. Max Homa 4 times.
Oh.
You have picked Max Homa 4 times. No, none of us, neither Dave or I, have picked a player 4 times.
Now, here's the question, though, and let's go back. How many times has Dave picked either Rory or Ricky? I mean, he's the R&R guy.
I have that. So
inside the park home run.
So Dave has picked Rory twice, Spieth twice, Scotty twice, and Fowler 3 times.
Okay.
And I picked JT 3 times, I think twice, and he's missed the cut twice of the 3 times I've picked him.
Yeah.
Oh, I have picked I picked Sepp twice and picked him to the highest and a win. I have picked Finau and Hovland twice and won with Hovland twice. I have picked Scotty Scheffler 3 times, and 2 of those times.
Hey, Dave, I already know where this is going. It's going to be 4, so
it is. But 2 of those times, I lost to Dave because Dave picked the winner of those tournaments.
Nice.
Yeah. One of them was Tony Finau in Mexico.
So I know.
And the other one was when Steve forced me to change my pick to go to Rory at Genesis.
So yeah, exactly. So it's funny that we picked you and Fowler a lot, but the person who picked the same player the most is Steve with Homa.
Yep.
So that's where this fun picks have gone this year. It's been a fun up and down day. There's one thing I forgot. Steve, you did win 2 of the 4 majors.
Yep.
The last 2. I won the first one. Dave won the second. You won 3 and 4.
Okay. Well, let's get into this. Well, there's this comment tonight.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
He's a Philly. He's always been a Phillies fan. And
always.
Of all of our teams on here, that's the team doing the best.
Yes.
Yep.
So, all right, Dave. Where do we got? Scotty Scheffler. Let me guess the top
Tour
3 odds.
championship.
Scotty Scheffler, Victor Hovland, Rory McIlroy.
Not
1,
in
2,
that
3.
order, but those are correct. Scotty's coming in at a whopping almost 1-to-1, 1.3 to 1 for Scotty. His odds of a top 10 are minus 2,500.
Jeez.
To finish
in a 30-person field, I can see that. Yeah.
Yep. Rory's coming in at 3.3 to 1. Victor at 5 to 1. John Rahm 8 to 1. Cantley 14. Steve's boy Max Homa at 28. Schauffele at 30. Fitzpatrick at 40. And you get and Glover's at 40. You get below that, then something's really gone wrong with one of the top.
You get out of the top. You get out of the top 3. You get out of the top 3. Something's wrong. I mean,
yeah, somebody got Nancy Kerrigan out on the course then.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
So here's what I'm going to say.
Wow.
Here's how I think
that just there's people watching going, "Who's Nancy Kerrigan?"
No, our demographic's pretty old.
Yeah, that's true.
If someone's saying that, they either have been in a hole for their whole life or they're way too young. So I'm going to put this out there. Since Dave's top pick throughout the year was Ricky Fowler, yours was Max Homa, and mine was Scotty Scheffler, I think we just all go with our top picks for the year.
Wow. Way to just, we already know you're taking Scotty anyway. You know, normally I would have the first pick, but you get
to 1.
I came in with a win going into the last one, guns blazing. So, here's the thing, though. I don't know if I ride out Victor, though. He's only down 2 strokes.
You can't take Victor.
Oh,
I can't. That's right. Yeah, so I got to take Scotty.
You can't take Victor.
That's true. I can't take Victor.
No. No. And then I'm going to actually, hey, Dave, I'm going to give you the chance to take Victor because I'm going to take Rory.
No, Greg.
Oh,
Greg hasn't made his pick yet.
I just said
I already know who he's taking.
Dude, you're lagging so much. Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry. I got the Phillies game.
Drink.
Yeah.
Dave's internet's
Greg, it's Scotty.
Yes.
Who you taking? Steve, you took Victor?
No, I'm going to take
Rory.
I'm going to take Rory.
Oh, okay.
I thought you'd take your boy Lucas.
It's a little too far back.
He's only 5.
And I'm taking Victor.
I mean, I saw that coming anyway, so I mean.
Well, I can't take Cantley. I took him last week, so Max Homa I think is a good pick, but
I'm gonna. Okay, what's in that R2D2 glass? If you even consider taking Cantley starting 6 shots back.
Yeah.
But here's the thing:
is there absinthe in that thing, Dave? I mean,
I have one with Victor Hovland this year at Memorial.
We both have one with Victor Hovland.
Yes. So
his 2 wins. We both have been picked on this show, which is pretty impressive.
yeah.
Yep.
Only one player in the top 10 this week doesn't have a victory on tour.
Xander? No.
No. Dave just said he was almost picked him, and that he can't pick him again.
Cantley. Yeah, he hasn't won at all this year.
Yeah.
Where'd Fitzpatrick? Oh, Fitzpatrick won RBC.
Yep.
Oh, and then Tommy Fleetwood's 11th. You're right.
Yep.
He and Russell Henley both haven't won this year.
Only 6 players in the top 30 haven't won this year.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So it's interesting. And we're going to get to this in last call because we're going to talk about the flighted seedings, which has its pros and cons. I get why they did it, but we'll talk that later on. So,
speaking of Sepp, you want Sepp's odds to finish in the top 10 are 8-1.
Okay,
which isn't bad.
Golf.
I feel like that's. I mean, nobody. I don't think anybody's putting money on that, but okay.
Davis,
I would.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
What do you mean would?
Degenerate.
Will. You will.
Yeah.
All right. With that, I think it's time to move on to happy hour.
And I know we've been looking for Dave go. Where'd Dave go? Where did Dave go?
How do we run a segment and lose Dave already?
I mean, he was going to get that
Eagle Rare. Nice.
Yeah. I know we've been talking about wanting to have this guest on since we started the show. It's been one of ours that we've really wanted to have on the show, so we're really excited tonight. So I want to welcome Clint Sanderson, founder, CEO, and GrooveIt brush extraordinaire to the podcast. Clint, welcome to the show.
Well, hey guys, thanks for having me. I got to say this right off the bat. Just from watching you guys and seeing how you interact, I would love to be rounding out a foursome with you guys, drinking beer on the golf course and having fun.
Anytime.
Anytime.
To make that happen.
Anytime.
I don't know if we can play on the same tees, but I might be competitive otherwise.
Hey.
No, you can play up there with Dave. We'll let Dave play the ladies' tees every once in a while. So
doesn't matter where you play from.
200-yard guy these days.
We don't care where you play from as long as you peg it up and have a good time. That's all we want. So
that's it. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on, by the way. I appreciate it.
Yeah, hey, Greg, you're right. Still playing golf. That's all.
Still playing golf.
Yep, still playing golf. So
that's it.
So Clint, we all have a GrooveIt brush. We love our GrooveIt brush. But why don't you tell us about the history of the GrooveIt brush and how it got started and where we are today?
Well, it goes back a few years. And what happened initially was growing up, I played golf ever since I was a kid, right? And playing in Oklahoma, the red clay gets stuck, it dries in the grooves of your club. And basically, it's kind of a south side kind of thing. I would spit on my golf club and use that cheap little toothbrush kind of brush to clean it out. That's what I did. That's what millions of guys still do. So about 10 years ago, I had to get my knees replaced. Sports injuries as a kid kind of did me in, and I was a helicopter pilot by trade. I was working on a contract in Iraq, and the train over there they just kind of took me to the end of my knees. So I needed to get them replaced. And a buddy of mine that I flew with said, "What are you going to do for the year that you're not playing or not flying?" And I said, "I don't know. I really hadn't thought about it. Maybe I'll play with those golf dads and drink some beer. I don't know."
I mean, come on.
They said, well, he said, you need to do something. You ought to think about it because you don't want to look back after a year and have nothing to show for it. And that's where the GrooveIt was kind of came into being. There's as when I was younger, I saw other versions of a similar brush, but it was real cheap and it leaked in the trunk of your car. And so I just thought, you know what? I think I want to go with a better mousetrap. And that's what I did. So I got a couple of patents on it and it's selling well. And my buddy Nick that you guys have been talking with, I was smart enough to get it from between my ears and hanging off a golf bag. But he has literally introduced it to the world. And we're happy about it. Real happy. It's good.
Nice.
That's kind of where it came from.
Yeah, and on your website, there's some pictures, and if anyone's watching, GrooveItBrush.com, but there's some pictures of your prototypes you did from like a 3D printing. Can you talk about like where you started from the 3D printing standpoint to where you got to the final product?
Right. Well, I was literally sitting in my recliner watching golf on a Sunday afternoon thinking, this maybe is what I want to do. Let me invent a better golf club cleaning brush. So I went to Lowe's and I bought a head similar that would possibly work, kind of a rounded head. And I used when you're traveling and you want to get like the little small containers that or that will fit on an airplane. So I got I bought one of those that is like a little cartridge of shaving cream, right? So I took that to a fella in Tulsa, a computer engineer and prototyper, and showed him what was on my mind. And we went through those 5 iterations or generations of the brush to get it where it is now. Yeah. So it was kind of what I would do is I would kind of make a piece of it, put it together, and take it to a driving range here in Oklahoma City. Start asking guys if they like it, if they would buy it, what could it be better? And so I'd take that information back to Rick as the guy. And I'd say, Rick, here's what we need to change. And he goes, yeah, we can do that. So he'd redesign it, print up another head or another body or whatever needed to be changed. And I'd take it back to the different driving ranges and just kind of refine it. But it took 5 tries at it to get it to a point where I felt comfortable producing it, having a manufacturer.
Well, and you said it before, like this, to be honest, I have now 4 of these. I lost one at Tobacco Road, funny enough, and then went out and bought a new one the next day. But the thing about this brush is it's so amazing because you said it. When you put the old, like the other styles in your car that you buy the cheap ones at Walmart, they leak in your car. They leak on your...
Hey, and Greg, I don't want to cut you off, but they're in Walmart now. I do know that because I saw it there myself.
No, I know that. I'm saying
my Luke, my son, picked it up. He was like, "Daddy, this is your brush."
I tell people this is the best brush on the market, like out there, from the bristles to everything. But you talked about like that those leak. This doesn't leak. Like I can leave water in this for weeks,
right?
Hang it, against the cart, throw it in my bag, throw it in the trunk of my car, give it to Dave, and have to give something to Dave.
That's because Greg. That's because I incorporated a pump with it, so it does not move any fluid until you actuate that pump by pushing on the cap, just like you do, and so. That's what makes it a better mousetrap. And then I tried to get real ergonomic with it, with the knurled grip and the curvature of the brush itself. So no matter how you hold it, it's going to get on. And the brush itself is just about the size of the face of a golf club. So you don't have to like mess around with it to get it to cover some space. It's right there on it. Yeah, there you go.
Covers the whole wedge right there. And that's the thing. What I love about it is there's been brushes out there that have like the metal bristles and like you don't really want to use those on forged irons or wedges.
I know.
And it will. And this, I will say, these bristles, they get a club cleaner than I've ever seen. Like, and it's simple. It's you spray it on a little bit, you brush it. So I mean, I've used this for a whole bunch of seasons now, but what is the life expectancy that you say that these brushes have?
Well, Greg, I'm gonna tell you, I really don't know what the life expectancy is because really hadn't worn any out yet, and it's been 6 years since I made my first manufacturing run. However, I put a 3-year guarantee on the brush itself, so if something happens within 3 years, all you got to do is box it up, send it back to me, and I'll send you a brand new one. And period. I've never heard of a golf club cleaning brush that puts a guarantee on it. You just buy the thing and you use it till it breaks and you throw it away. Well, this thing's kind of bulletproof, and the bristle to me was a big part of it. It needs to be stout and it needs to dig in there to the groove, and it does not need to scratch the face of your golf club. Golf clubs are expensive, man. You don't want to be scratching the face, And
I will say it digs in there, and you don't need to force it that much. You just put a nice amount of pressure on there,
and that keeps you from, with the I just put water in there, but I also put just a couple of drops of like Dawn dishwashing soap. Not that it does anything better. It doesn't help the function of it. It just kind of looks cooler, and it's sudsy when it comes out of the brush,
Hey, Clint, I'm going to ask. I mean, you talk about putting water and soap in there. Have we thought about it being a way to, I don't know, sneak vodka onto the golf course? Can you get a couple of them on your bag and throw some liquor in there? You just squirt it into your drink.
Don't give Dave any idea.
Have a little shot here, huh, Steve?
Have a little shot here, yeah.
I don't see why it wouldn't work.
Wait, is this my club cleaning brush or is this my mouth cleaning brush?
Just my drinking brush or my club brush?
Too funny. Yeah, it's multi-use, no doubt about it.
So, I got introduced to, this, via Steve, and I now I have the full size. I take my mini, and I kind of attach it to, I have the magnet on there, right on the golf cart, right there for the towel that I take, up to the greens with me right there. I find it great cleaning off the ball. So you have the full size and the mini G. Where did those ideas come from?
Well, the regular GrooveIt, which Michael Breed calls the Beast, that's what he calls it. So that's kind of funny. I've never heard it called that, but I kind of like it. But so anyway, people are using it on their ball. People are using it on their shoes. So it's really multi-use. But we were experimenting, trying to get it on the bags of the pros, and kind of hate to say it, but the pros really, or the professional caddies, are not that into it because they like the water idea and they like using it with their pro whenever he's on the practice range, but they really weren't into carrying it because they said it was too heavy, but it's just too big. It's kind of bulky for them. So we noticed what was out there, and we saw a big void in what was out there that was high quality again. So we just made a smaller version of the GrooveIt, except that it's dry. So we were like back and forth, Nick and I, what are we going to call it? And we were like, okay, it looks just like a GrooveIt, except it's smaller. So it's kind of a mini me. No, it's a mini G. So that's where we came up with the name. And at the Masters, and there's several pros that I don't know if it's right for me to name them, but several pros, they put it on their hip while they're practicing, and they just pop it off, clean the club. And the magnet is strong enough that you can just got to get it back in the same zip code, and that northern half of the magnet is going to find the other half. It'll find it.
I will say that's what I do is every round I play, like I clip this to my belt in the back, and then I just pull this off, clean my club right before I'm about to hit, and this thing, game changer. Like this was a game changer. Yeah, this I almost like the mini even better, and I
tell you, I don't know which is the GrooveIt's my first love, but I really dig the mini G as well. The regular GrooveIt kind of changed my pre-shot routine. Like hopefully, if I can find my ball in the fairway, then if it's in the fairway while I'm waiting to hit my shot into the green, you're always kind of waiting around for a minute, either on your playing partners or on somebody to clear the green. So I would just pop the GrooveIt off, walk over to my ball, because without, that magnet does not keep you hemmed into your bag, or, you can walk around as far as you want with it. So I'm standing next to my ball, cleaning my club, thinking about my shot, hook it up, and then hit my shot. Well, the mini G, I never really thought about hooking it on my hip. I just saw a couple of pros doing it, so I started doing it, and I leave it on there now while I'm playing because it's weird, but it has changed my cadence in my swing. Because when you through swing with it hanging on your right hip, I'm a right-handed golfer, it kind of swings it by, and you can feel the little mini when it hits your belt loop, when it hits your belt, and it kind of reinforces a good solid swing through the ball for me, coordinated. It's kind of wild.
So
it's what it does.
It's also a perfect training aid.
Yeah, I think
it goes for training.
In our opening video, I have a Tag Golf, mini towel on my belt, and it's not a great shot, but the mini G is right there on the Tag Golf towel on the magnet right there with it. So that's training aid's not going to work for me one way or the other.
It's very flattering to hear you guys talk positively about my invention. Both of them. It's very flattering. Very flattering.
Oh, that's our thing on here. we promote stuff that we like. If we don't like it, we're going to say how it is. But this, I will say, is one of the best things. And when we all kind of got the mini, that was the first thing we did is we clipped it to our belt loop on that round. And we were like, this is a game changer right here. Like we loved this. This was the next evolution of it. And you're doing the right things with this. And it's cool to see.
And thanks for your kind words. I appreciate it.
You talked about the tour players. I caddied at Bay Hill in the Pro-Am, and I actually called Nick from the putting green as I'm standing there, and I will drink. We have a drinking game that when you mention certain things, you have to drink. And I called Nick, and I was like, did you know X player is using your GrooveIt brush? And he said, what do you mean? And I said, he literally has the mini G in the bunker, in the practice bunker on the putting green at Bay Hill, on his literally on his middle belt loop and on his back. And he goes, "You're kidding me, right?" And I was like, "No." And I was standing there with the guy that I was caddying for, and a few other tour players were around, and there were a couple other people around that I knew, and we were just chit chatting. I'm trying, and I didn't want to be that guy taking a video of him using the GrooveIt brush, like I'm taking a picture of this guy's butt, because that's where his brush was. So Nick's like,
Steve was the guy taking a picture of somebody's butt.
So Nick was like, "Hey, can you get a video?" And I was like, "I don't want to be the creeper, Nick. I mean, come on." But
you know what, Steve? We got video. I know who you're talking about. We got video.
But no, it's funny because we, when you look at the tour players, like I feel like 90% of them are using it in a practice round. I mean, you can see it on video now during their practice rounds. You can see them all wearing something like this, and most of them are wearing the GrooveIt brush. What's it like when you think about the fact that you've created a product that when you look and see, whether it's on social media or TV or whatnot, there's your product. And I mean, I'm going to say this. I don't think you're paying these guys. In fact, I'm almost certain you're not paying these guys to use it. So when you think about, you've created a product that the guys at the elite level are using, how cool is that for you?
Well, Steve, it's very cool. It's very flattering. And I am simply amazed whenever I'm watching television, just like you guys, or I was at the RBC, we counted no less than 18 minis on the guys' bags. And that's from kind of when we didn't see everybody come by either. This is just a guy that we noticed. And so it's a blessing is what it is. It's very cool. But it just does my heart good to know that I made something. Nick and I got together and made that mini, got it done. And it appeals to not only my golf group, but it appeals to you guys, and it appeals to the top 0.02% of the golfers in the world. And no, we're not paying. We haven't paid anybody.
Yeah.
They just use it because they like it. And so
here's the thing we've talked about on this show before. Golf is the one game that's out there that you could do the same thing that the pros are doing, whether it's clubs, whether it's courses. If the pros have it, there's a good chance that we could get something similar. And the fact that you're not paying anybody to use this project, that they're just going out maybe to Walmart and just picking it up and sticking it on their bag. It's a testament to such a great product that not only that the pros have, but we can get as well too.
Well, it's pretty weird. One evening I was checking my emails, and through my website Shopify, I get notified of a sale, right? And I looked at this, and I see this name, and it's a professional golfer's name anyway. But this guy purchased 4 of them, and he lives in Delray Beach, Florida, or that's where the address said was where we were shipping to, was Delray Beach, Florida. So I get on the line with Nick. I say, "Nick, do you know where this guy lives?" And he goes, "No, but I can find out." So he found out. Sure enough, Delray Beach, Florida. Buddy, I would have given him 4 brushes. Whatever he wanted. He bought them with his own money.
That's a testament to the product that you have, because you really took something that, like, brushes were a dime a dozen that you could get, like they were giveaways and bags and things like that, and they were okay. You took something that everyone uses and made it better, and to the point that a pro who could probably call you, like you said, and ask for 4 brushes is like, I got to buy these right now because these are fantastic. Because to be honest, it's the best cleaning brush I've ever seen, because normally on a brush you have the bristles and like they wear down over time and stuff. I've used this one for 2 whole seasons almost.
Yeah.
And it looks brand new.
Yes.
It
cracks me up to see that. Yeah. But the bottom line is, the whole thing is that we want to be like the professionals. We look and we see the shots and we want to be able to pull it off. And all those guys work with clean grooves. So if you want trajectory, spin, accuracy, consistency, you have to have clean grooves. It's like the barreling in a rifle. You just have to have it. If you don't have it, you're going to throw a knuckleball out there. It's like hitting out of the rough. There's something between.
I can do that with clean grooves
and the ball. So, yeah, I can attest to that too often. Yeah.
Clint, let me ask you this. I mean, I want to say I think I know who the first tour player was to use it. And I think it was Lucas Herbert, and his caddy had it on their bag first. Yes. When you think about the caddies and you think about Lucas's caddy and the other caddies that are using it now, what do you think that, I mean, we went from a day and age where they dip their towel in the cooler that held the the drinks at the tee box to where we are now with a GrooveIt brush for some of these guys. Have you studied it? Is it cleaner when they use a GrooveIt brush as opposed to just using a towel to clean a golf club?
Well, no, but it is exactly the same, because with a GrooveIt, the beast, as Michael Breed calls it, with that, introducing water, that's for basically, when it comes right down to it, it's guys like me and you that don't clean our brushes with a wet towel after every shot, more or less, or more than that, have a guy that you've hired clean that club for you with a wet towel after every shot. So this is like for the big GrooveIt is basically for guys like me and you. But the other guys that use this, there's a whole subset of golfers that don't use water. They don't spit on they don't do anything. They clean their club right after they hit a shot. So the Mini is right up their alley for that. And that's why it works for both. It works for amateur golfers through and through, all the way through pros. And we got a couple other ideas we're going to come up with, and I'll be glad to share with you.
We will be test dummies if you need it. I can attest I'll speak on these guys.
Clint, there's 2 testers and 1 dummy, so you know where
Well, I'm looking at 2 testers and 2 dummies on my street.
But Clint, I will say, like you said it perfectly there, because that's why I like the Mini, is because before I had something like this, like it's always attached to my bag, and if I'm in a cart and I walk away, then I'm like, oh, I got to walk back to my cart to clean off my club. But just attaching this to my belt loop, now it's like, okay, I'm at my shot, like you said, I don't have to go back and mess up my routine. I can stay in that groove. For a pun.
Well, Eric, you won't be disappointed, Eric. I can tell you that. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah, Eric. I mean, if you want to go over to Tobacco Road, when we were playing the one time, it fell off when we were on the motorbikes. So you can just go see if it's in there lost and found.
Let me tell you about the genesis of the magnet. I was told early on, don't use a retractable lanyard because it's going to wear out, which is very true. After just a little use, they start to hang, off your golf bag. Well, that's no good. So I was like thinking, okay, well, this buddy of mine owns a promotional company, and he says, partner, use a D-ring, something like that. Don't do this, anything that can break. And I said, why? And he goes, because if it breaks on a customer, and if you don't replace it, they're going to get on you on social media. And that's very true. I mean, the customer audience is very hip to what's going on. If something's not right, they need to speak up about it. But I flew medical helicopters forever. And one evening, I was kind of lost in space, just thinking about, I didn't want to use a retractable lanyard. I didn't want to use a clip. I didn't want to use a D-ring. So this paramedic that I'm working with said, hey, Sanderson, you're like 100 miles from here. What are you thinking about? And I said, well, so I explained to him, I don't want to use a clip. I don't know what to use. I'm just really, I'm stuck. And he said, why don't you just use what I use when I'm fly fishing? And I said, I don't know. What is that? And he goes, when I'm fly fishing, I'm either in my kayak or I'm into the river knee deep. And so I need to be self-contained. So I've got a vest on, a nylon vest, and up front it's got all my tackle, all my gear that I need. And on the back, I have my net, and it's held on with a magnet. So I net the fish, use it, and I just kind of get it back on my back, and it finds the other half of that magnet. And I said, whoa, that sounds pretty cool. Would it be strong enough to use on my GrooveIt? And he goes, I'll be back. So he goes out to his truck, comes back in, says, here, you can have this one. And when I pop that thing apart and then it just finds the other half of that magnet when you put it back together, I mean, it just finds it, doesn't it? Yeah. It's just basic zip code. So you can find it without even looking after you get used to where it's at, right? So when that happened, I just said, man, this is problem solved. Well, so when I started using that, my golfing buddies, when they saw that, they said, man, Clint, this magnet alone is worth the price of admission. Right here is the way they describe it. This thing is awesome. I said, it is, and it's a game changer. It is. So.
Oh, and I think, having that, like Greg has shown, right there, and you have it on your belt. We've all taken a club out to the middle of the fairway while we're waiting and taking our practice swings. And, some of us may take a little bit bigger divot than others. And you got to clean your club, right then and there, especially if you're on a cart path only or, something else. And,
you're exactly right.
And it's right there for you to go ahead and get everything taken care of.
Yeah, it just kind of fits the bill. And so, if you're, it fits for a golfer. You guys are golfers. The importance of the clean grooves. Other people, this may not be for them so much because if you look at their clubs, they haven't cleaned their clubs in 7 years, and so they really don't care, But for a guy like me and guys like you, guys all the way to the professional level, it's important to them, So the mini seems to work the best on the golf course for guys like me and you. The mini works best for a pro when he's practicing because on the course, he's got a caddy that takes the club out of the guy's hand and cleans it with a wet towel before it ever goes back in the bag, So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
Eric,
so we already saw the purchase. So it's
great purchase, Eric.
That's the thing is like I said, I have a bunch of these for different bags that I have. I have a few of the minis, and in a round, I want both. I want this on my bag to clean off when I get back before I put my clubs in my bag, but I want this mini right there so that I can clean off, so I'm not going back and forth, especially like you said on cart path only. That's when
you throw one into the dirt while you're waiting, practice swinging, and then what are you going to do?
Or for those of us that play bunker to bunker, and you got to walk from one side of the green to the other and clean your club off.
So Eric, let me throw this in there right quick. If you're wanting to buy one of each, I really want to thank you for that. Let me tell you where you can get one. You can get one on my site at GrooveItBrush.com, or you can get them at Golf Galaxy and Dick's Sporting Goods, and you can get them in a whole bunch of Walmarts. But kind of depends on where you live. They're not way up north. They're pretty much middle of the United States and south.
Hey Clint, I know our friend Clint. We have a mutual friend who's also been on the show in Scott from Desert Fox.
Yes.
Are you guys, and Eric just put it, I was going to ask, are you guys, I know you can buy their devices from Desert Fox on Amazon. Can you buy these on Amazon? And I'm assuming Eric's answer is
completely overlooked. Yeah, we're on Amazon as
well. Hey, Brad's wife just said he can order one and leave her towels alone. So that is,
Brad, stop taking the good guest towels to the golf course.
Yeah.
I feel we've all had a hotel towel as our golf towel at one point in our career.
Exactly. No, Clint.
Yeah, Clint, you can a towel online too if you want.
And Clint, let me just explain to you, as Greg says, that all three of us used to work as hotel managers. So I guarantee we've all had hotel towels as a towel in our golf bag at one point.
Gotcha.
No, Clint, thank you for joining us tonight. You stole Dave's thunder on asking that last question of where can you find him. No, thank you for joining us. We really enjoyed this. let's definitely stay in touch as you have new products coming out. Definitely love to have you back on again as you're launching new products, because obviously it's you make a quality product, and we love to get behind our partners that get behind quality products. And obviously, as we've done some giveaways this year, you guys have been a part of our giveaways, and we will continue to do that because you guys do have an amazing product. So thank you for all the support you guys have done for us, and look forward to having some great continued success for you guys.
Well, again, thanks, Steve. I appreciate you guys having me on, and I look forward to meeting you guys in person. Let's play some golf.
Hey, will you
the event tonight?
I'm gonna ask this question. Are you gonna be back in town for the PGA Merchandise Show in January?
Yes, we will.
All right, we will meet up then. Let's do this. So
I would gladly spring for a round at Orange County. There, we've done that for the last couple of years, and then
we might have a big announcement for Demo Day, but I'll keep you posted on that. Yeah. We may have something coming up big on Demo Day, so we'll keep you posted on that. But yeah, no. Just to leave you with this, one of our followers just said you're an inspiring person, so thank you for doing what you do. And that
follower is getting a GrooveIt brush.
He is getting a GrooveIt brush. So
he has a GrooveIt brush coming.
Yes, he won our contest for. He won our contest, so he won our last contest for 1,000 followers. So we will definitely keep you posted on that.
All right. Hey, thanks again, guys. I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you guys in person.
Thanks, Clint. Talk to you soon.
Clint.
Right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye. Man,
all right.
Great interview.
Great interview. And for everyone out there, this is not this is by far the best brush on the market, the best brush out there. And I will say, yes, Lee, I was cleaning the new clubs you made for me. So they go very well with Wedge FX wedges.
Yes. Yes, they do. So, all right, it's that special time of the week for the worst introduction that we have. So,
the
best time of the week.
We try to be a reputable show when we do crap like that. I still can't figure that out.
Makes us reputable. It's the smack of the week.
It makes the show.
It makes the show. Well,
give the fans what they want.
And here it is. Yep, I had to get that one in there. So.
Funny enough,
Dave Rogers School of Golf right there.
Around playing, I have an old Bluetooth speaker that I used to have on the course that is dented from someone doing that to me.
And it wasn't Dave?
That someone was not me.
It wasn't Dave. It was not Dave.
Wow, that's impressive.
So,
Thanks, Heidi. Hey, Duff, what's going on? You did miss the smack of the week intro, Duff. I'm disappointed.
Let's play it again for Duff.
Anything for you, Duff.
The people ask and we shall give.
The people love it, Steve. You have to understand that.
Is this the people's intro? Are we talking this like The Rock now?
I mean, I'll put a poll out there. Should I add more bears to
it? Wow.
All right, with that being said.
That's the best roll in a putt I've probably had all year. Dear Lord.
Not your putt.
It is. If you look at the shoes, by the way, if you look at the shoes, those are my blue squares. So yes, they are.
No, they're not. They're my dad's blue FootJoys, not the blue squares. If you actually look at them. I can show you the whole video.
Greg, make the video, Steve. I think he knows.
Yeah.
Okay. So
if that's the best rolling on a putt you've had all year, you've had a pretty bad year.
It's been pretty bad. Yeah, it has been. It has been. I first want to talk about the Adaptive Golf National Championship that's going on right now up in Illinois. And I wish that Brad had sent me a better image that wasn't some random file that I can't pull up. Thanks, Brad.
I wanted to put that comment up before, but they're having a little squabble on here.
So I do want to give a shout out after the first round today. Brad, congratulations. You're leading your flight. We won't talk about your score. We'll just let everybody know you're leading your flight in your division. So, Brad, congratulations. Greg, go ahead and say, why is he leading his flight?
I was going to let it go.
You were?
I was going to let it go.
Okay.
Because he's a great golfer. That's why. Because Brad is a great golfer.
Great golfer. That's it. That's exactly
Not because he's the only one in this flight, but he is.
Oh, he's leading his flight and running the tournament too. So that's like winning your own tournament again. Good job, Brad. We definitely will drink to that.
Hey, we know somebody that does that.
I'm down for that, 100%. I do want to give a shout out. I saw some other some of our guests that we've had on the show. The championship flight is being led by Chad Pfeiffer, shot 66 today. So congratulations to Chad. And Adam Benza is leading the next flight. And he is currently he shot 77 today and is leading that flight. So congratulations to Adam. Steve's my hero.
Cheers, everybody.
Brad,
you need better heroes.
Brad, you need to get your priorities in order if Steve's your hero.
And then there's Heidi keeping him humble. I love it.
Heidi, you're my hero.
So that being said, let's go. Let's talk Tour Championship.
Golf.
Let's talk Tour Championship. Last call. Starting as the flighting and the member guest, with pairing the field and flighting the field, and the leader starting at 10 under. Dave, we're going to start with you. I want to start with Dave. Okay. Dave, your take on players starting and then flighting the field like this.
Why? Just why?
I'll tell you why.
You play to win the game.
Oh, jeez.
Wow. We've got a Herm reference. Oh. I mean, what's next? Are we going to have an Allen Iverson practice reference? We're talking about practice.
Practice. Here's the thing.
Playoffs.
Fighting the field based on points. I understand it, but at the same time, it's just like, all right, as Tin Cup says, you keep making par, I'll beat you all day. Guys are going to go out and try and shoot lights out, and it's up to the leaders to either shoot lights out or play steady golf. And comes down to Scotty Scheffler's steady golf on the putting green is not his forte right now. So
no. Again, we need to get him a GrooveIt putting brush is what we need.
But I mean, you play to win, and it's a point-based championship, and you get a lead. But if you spotted the Lakers 25 points in the NBA Finals, they still might lose. But why is this the only event that we're going to spot somebody a lead?
So here's why. Because a few years ago, they wanted the Tour Championship to have the champion of the year win it. So you're playing to get into this tournament so that if you have the most FedEx Cup points, this one tournament shouldn't cost you that.
But
unless you,
I'll rebuttal this.
I'm not rebuttaling.
If you have points,
hold on. I'm just saying what's going on. I'm not taking a side. What I'm saying is the Tour saw that, Tiger was so far ahead. They didn't want Tiger to fall back in something. So they were like, we're going to make this. We don't want him to come into this event and lose the Tour Championship, but win the FedEx Cup. They want the person who wins the Tour Championship to be the same person who wins the FedEx Cup. And that's why this started. That's the only thing started.
And this is where, and this, I will agree with this too. Victor got 2,000 points for yesterday. So they have waited so that if you get more points for a win, and let's be real, and if you ask Lucas Glover 6 months ago, would he have this many points and he'd be fifth in FedEx Cup points? He would say no, because he didn't play well enough at the beginning of the year. To me, if you win the FedEx Cup, you should be the best player for the year. And the last player that won the Tour Championship and didn't win the FedEx Cup because it was the year they changed it was when Tiger won, and everyone remembers the mob scene of Tiger winning at the Tour Championship, and then Justin Rose winning, and the Tour said, we don't want to do that again. We want the winner of the FedEx Cup to be the winner of the Tour Championship. Now, here's my personal opinion. Greg, you said this earlier. You had 6 players that don't have a win this year.
Yep.
Right? That have made the Tour Championship.
Uh-huh.
My biggest problem and who's the highest player in the field that doesn't have one? Tommy Fleetwood at 11?
No, Cantley at 8. Or
Cantley
7.
at 8.
Cantley at 7.
Okay.
7.
So if Patrick Cantley goes out and wins the Tour Championship, he wins the FedEx Cup, correct?
Yep.
Okay. To me, the winner of the FedEx Cup, he played steady all year and played in important parts and finished well in important parts. But would you say that his year, Colin Morikawa's year, who's led the Tour in top 10s this year, without a win, would you say that those guys deserve to be the FedEx Cup champion?
So here's the thing. I think that's the problem is we're trying to make 2 things into one here. And it's the same thing that we said with Liv. And that's what I don't like about it is that I get that you don't want your final tournament to have 2 winners in a sense. The FedEx Cup should be your overall for the year, and the Tour Championship is just your winner of the playoffs, the way it was meant to be. But you don't want that scene, and that's why they kind of did this. And I think it was an overreaction.
Correct.
Like you have your points and you have your flighted system. Keep with the points. If you go out and you win the tournament and you have 100,000 FedEx Cup points and you get another 10,000 for winning or 5,000 for finishing, second and so on, doesn't matter whether you win this tournament or not. It should just be based on the points that you're accumulating like they've done all year long.
My problem is you could have somebody go out and win 4 majors. They could complete the Grand Slam, right? But if they are cold come FedEx Cup playoff time and they don't win the Tour Championship, were they really the best player of the year? Because the Tour's original idea of this was the person who wins the FedEx Cup should be the player of the year on the PGA Tour.
Yeah. But so
I don't feel like
was Lucas Glover that person at the beginning of the year?
No,
correct.
That's the
and so Lucas wins the last 2 weeks. He wins the Wyndham and then he wins the St. Jude. If Lucas had won, and I'm just going to throw this out there, if Lucas wins the BMW, they are. But if Lucas wins the BMW last week, he's in the driver's seat this week, right? So if Lucas wins, and I don't want to take away from Lucas's season because 3 wins and 2 huge events plus the last event of the year is a great year, right, on the PGA Tour. But would you say that he didn't play in any of the 4 majors this year? He didn't play in majors this year.
No, he didn't.
It is what it is.
He missed the U.S. Open by a putt.
So would you say that a guy who didn't play in all 4 of the majors but wins 3 events at the end of the year in a row, and let's just use that as an example, if you win all 3 events of the FedEx Cup, should be player of the year on the PGA Tour?
So here's the thing. That's where we need to take out player of the year, the FedEx Cup points, and the Tour Championship. I think these need to be 3 separate things. Like, I feel the player of the year should be like the MVP voted on and something like that. I feel FedEx Cup points should be up to the regular season. Like, when you get to the playoffs, the FedEx Cup points don't go out the door, and it's the playoffs. Like, you make it in and do that. Because to be honest, you know what I'd like to see? A 64 player bracket that is almost match play to win the Tour Championship. Yeah. Like, play it in points like that.
Well, Greg, you just opened it. Greg, that's a rabbit hole, like, because we're getting rid of match play on the PGA Tour.
I know, but I'm think about if you want to play.
What if you said? What if you said? Okay, and let's throw this idea out there. If you're the PGA Tour and you're sitting at Tour headquarters, would you take the Tour Championship, take the top 32 players, and do match play, seeded match play? And here's the problem with match play. in match play, you can run it. It's kind of like NHL playoffs. You can run into a guy on a heater, a goalie with a heater that's just going to freaking win you the Stanley Cup. But again,
any playoff,
you're right. If you're going to separate all three, which I believe they should,
yep,
because I don't think that the way that it's done now is the right way to do it. If you're going to separate all three, what if you take the top 32 players and do match play?
I think that's a way to do it. I think you earn your points, and the top 32 can play in their match play. You can have other tournaments that go on at the same time that are just to play in a sense.
It's like
we'll
the
call
NIT.
them the Live Tour. Yeah, it's the NIT. Like you can have that, but you have a regular season champion that played through the majors, played through everything, got to the right before the playoffs. They had the most FedEx Cup points. They win the FedEx Cup. Boom. Yeah. That's it right there. You take the top 32, you have a playoff, and you have a champion. Because here's the thing.
Okay,
only in the US really, hold on. Only in the US really are professional sports teams have a regular season and a playoff. In Premier League soccer, in La Liga, you just play a regular season and the overall winner wins the championship. There's no playoff.
Yeah.
So
here's
if you want to have a playoff, make it different.
With this, the PGA doesn't want to see the Lucas Glovers of the world winning this tournament.
Tiger Woods sells. Rory McIlroy sells.
Scotty people know
Scotty sells.
Your average golfer. I'm going to throw out a name that Greg and I both know, Don Holowicki. If you put 8 names on a piece of paper, Scotty Scheffler, Rory, Victor Hovland, Lucas Glover, Sam Burns, Cam Young, 3 of those names, the average person just watching on a weekend is going to know, Scotty, Rory, John Rahm, the big names in golf, your average golfer.
I'd even say Scotty, if our wives were to sit down, could our wives tell us what Scotty Scheffler did? They probably couldn't.
So with this, they don't, unless Lucas Glover would have won and gotten on a hot streak at the beginning of the year and was up there and is a face of tournaments going in and out every single week, the PGA doesn't want to see the Lucas Glover. It's like Major League Baseball catering to the Yankees. They want to see the Yankees in the playoffs because, they want to see the Yankees in the playoffs because Yankees bring money to TV and people tune in to watch the Yankees.
Right. But here's the thing. So if we do
to watch Tampa Bay.
If we do a 32 team, if you do a 32,
well, I gotta bite my tongue.
I know. Hold on. But if you do a 32 player bracket, okay, and you have, I'm gonna call Sep a Cinderella story, and you do this like March Madness, you're gonna have those players that just make it into the playoff. That it's going to be exciting to watch them if they go on a heater in the playoff. All they did was they won the playoff. They won the playoff championship. That would be exciting. And you're going to have those players where Scotty's going to go out there and shoot and play well. But when we watched the match play this year, that's what it was. Like you had these 2 players that upset Rory and Scotty and got into the championship.
My problem is that you're crowning a champion based on one tournament. I understand you have to get to a tournament in order to play in the tournament, but you're crowning a champion based on one tournament is really what you're doing. And
you're giving them a heads up. So it's like, hey, this is who we want. They've earned the right to have this many points, which I get.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's a playoff. Make it a playoff. Don't make it a one.
Yeah.
A one shot in, because here's the thing:
now,
is anyone?
Now, Greg, let me ask you this: if you decided to do this match play, and going back, and if you look at the history of golf, the PGA Championship used to be match play. Stick with the points for consistency. Where's that go to, Greg? Our conversation earlier about our points.
Yeah. Ours isn't on points. It's not on.
It's average finish. Yeah. So if you're going to do match play, you have 32 players, so everybody plays on Thursday, right? Everybody plays Thursday, 16 on Friday, 8 on Saturday, 4 Sunday morning, 2 Sunday afternoon.
2 Sunday afternoon. Yep.
And do you do 2 matches Sunday afternoon? So anybody that makes Sunday, you have a consolation match to see who finishes third
you
and
have
fourth?
first, second, third. You have first, second, third, and fourth.
Third and fourth.
Well,
okay.
first, second, third. You play, and that's, I think that's a great way to do it. I think that it would make it exciting. It's match play is exciting. It makes it an actual playoff versus like, to be honest, the last few weeks, Scotty didn't have to play and he was in the Tour Championship.
Correct. Now, here's my question for you. If you're Scotty in this, okay, and this is what the Tour doesn't want from a match play perspective. Scotty goes in, and I don't know who 32 is. I'll just use Sepp at 30 as he's the last guy in the field this week. And Chris Kirk would be 32, so he would still be in the field. Yep. Chris Kirk upsets Scotty on Thursday.
Yeah.
Again, you still run into that. Let's say Chris Kirk gets on a heater. Chris Kirk didn't win on the PGA Tour this year, did he? I think no.
He did. No. He did win on PGA Tour this year.
Did he win Honda?
Hold on, I'll tell you in a second.
Did he win one of those against the British? Against the Open? No.
Hey, Mike, that's already the field. The entire field has... He won Honda. The field can the whole field has... If you win, if you're Sepp Straka at number 30 and you win the Tour Championship and you play your butt off and set like 3-course records over the course of the week with no cut,
how awesome would that be?
Like, he would win the Tour Championship and win the FedEx Cup.
Yeah.
So that's how it's set up. Stone, I'm going to say this. You should be the guy because it comes around on social media quite a bit. The average player that should play in every Tour event to give the rest of us to show us what we would all shoot, that would be you. So you're Dave.
I'd pay to watch that.
And we could rotate caddying for you, all three of us every week. Yeah. We'd caddy certain days for you.
I have a feeling we'd get if they actually played a good round, we'd get asked to be caddying for other people.
I mean, you're probably right. So.
But that's the thing. So here's the thing. If you're looking at this right now from where we are, I mean, this could be something if we did a playoff where Jordan Spieth could turn it around. Because he's at 29.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning it would be that'd be actually a pretty good matchup. Hold up. That matchup might be him versus John Rahm.
So it'd be Ryder Cup.
Yeah,
Ryder Cup preview.
How awesome! Like this playoff thing, I think would be an exciting last. Instead of the Tour champion, it could still be played in Atlanta. Like, let's be honest.
Dear PGA Tour, copyright right now. Golfing Dads Tavern.
The Golfing Dads present the Tour Championship is just all we ask for because we have come up with this trademark LLC.
I'm going to be honest with you. We don't have enough money to pay for that from a sponsorship standpoint.
No, we just own the rights to it, so it's that they have to figure that out. So it's our idea. We came up with it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. I think that's
Eric, I'm saying if there was 32, not if there was. Not based on 30. Based on 32, Eric, is what I'm saying. That was Eric's comment.
Yeah. So if you went to 32, yes.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, guys, great show. Great week. Dave, next week, can you join us on time?
Tune in and find out.
Tune in and find out.
Like, follow, and subscribe. See what happens.
We'll
subscribe. See what happens.
And next week, by the way, guys, we're going to have 2 shows. We're going to have an after party on Tuesday next week after they pick the 6 captains' picks for the Ryder Cup. So we'll recap the Tour Championship. Have a really
cool
join us
Monday for our picks for the Ryder Cup.
Right. And our guest on next Monday is going to be Minimal Golf Bags. If you're familiar with Minimal, really sweet looking golf bag. So tune in next Monday for that. And we will definitely be talking to you next week. Cheers, everybody. Have a great week. Don't forget to tip your bartender.
Cheers, y'all.
Oh, wait. I got to stop before we go. Yeah, Greg. Sorry, Heidi. 2 nights next week.
Yeah.
You get to
That
hang out
means
with us
2 extra
twice.
dish towels, Heidi.
Heidi, you're excited for that.
Yes, you should be excited for that. Like, that's more time with us. So, all right, everybody, have a good week. We'll talk to you next week.
Cheers.
Cheers.